Obviously, when we do the state's budget review, TennCare plays a big role in it because it's where we spend over 30% of the total state dollars. And you can have one item, a new drug in TennCare that can cost more than whole departments cost. And so there's always a lot of work done on this, and then when the proposals are made, they involve a lot of dollars both in increases and in reductions. And I appreciate TennCare and the work that they've done and they've put into making these. Because something has been proposed, I want to be really clear and say one more time, that does not mean those will be taken. But there's no way you can look at the kind of reductions we're looking at without having TennCare be impacted, because it's where all the dollars are. So with that, I'll answer questions.
Are there things that you saw in the reduction plan that just seem to make sense regardless of, like things that you would maybe want to do anyway?
Well, I think there's a couple things, but again, because of the technical nature and because I'm obviously not a physician, I want to sit down and talk in depth with the TennCare team to better understand the impact of some of those changes. Like I said, my experience with TennCare has been they've done the hard work to propose things, and they've also done a great job of telling us, hey, this is really going to hurt folks, or we can do this with a little less impact. And I just don't know until we sit down and have the further discussions about that.
And how does the current budget weigh into thoughts about Medicaid expansion? I mean, I know that it's a different kind of match rate and all that kind of stuff, but surely there's
sure. I mean, I think that this conversation shows why the expansion issue is so difficult, because you see this drives our whole state budget. It really does, and so we don't want to do something that's going to add to that burden and push out other vital needs without being really thoughtful about its long-term impact. The match is different on the new population. It'll be 90-10 instead of 2/3, 1/3. But that 10%, as you can see here, can still be a lot of dollars. And so before we take on those additional commitments, we're trying to make certain we understand the financial impact of the state long-term. That's why it's such a hard decision.
Going back to Medicaid expansion,
sure.
There have been 9 other Republican governors that have decided to expand. Is there putting pressure on you to?
I mean, I honestly have never looked at it from the politics of this. I mean, like I said, the easiest thing to do on that would have been to say no originally. We've been trying to work to an answer that doesn't bust our budget and does provide better health care for folks. So it's not like, oh wow, there's been another Republican say they would do it, or anything else. That shouldn't be what drives us to do it. It should be those reasons that we said.
Have you taken a look at any of those plans? Something Wyoming.
I've actually not just looked at them. I've talked to all those governors. So people like Wyoming and Indiana and Utah, they're a little bit where we are right now of trying to say we'd like to have a different approach to this. And so we've not just. So Darren's talked to their Medicaid directors. I've talked to their governors to better understand that. And then as we're talking with Washington, we're trying to find out, okay, here's what they proposed. What are you likely to approve here?
I know you've been saying you've been having these talks, I think, as recently as this past week, but are those conversations getting any closer?
Yeah, actually, as recently as this week, I talked to Secretary Burwell again this week, and so I think we're narrowing the issue. And again, nothing new, but the point that I've made to Secretary Burwell and Darren's made to CMS folks is our clock is ticking toward a conclusion point, and we're going to decide on this one way or another before Christmas. And so I think they understand that.
Maybe one more.